Through their eccentric mysticism and mystery, the INFJ personality type has their fair share of unpopular opinions. In fact, most INFJs would probably agree that most of their beliefs, ideas, and points of view would be considered to be opposite to the conventional status quo. So, what are some of the most prominent unpopular opinions INFJs have? Welcome or welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. PDA is not as offensive as it is endearing. While public displays of affection may not be for the INFJ themselves per se, being the observer they are, this personality type usually appreciates the lack of fear of judgment it takes to love freely and carelessly. When witnessing a romantic couple showing their love for one another in the public eye, it's often looked down upon or attention-seeking. However, for the INFJ who loves the idea of love and can easily understand the feelings of other people, simple acts of public affection come across as charming or even enchanting in some circumstances. Whether it be a passionate kiss in a busy mall, a cuddle on a park bench, or even a pat on the rear while waiting in line, INFJs don't mind. Now, of course, there are clear limits as to what is considered acceptable and not acceptable PDA. But for the ones who keep it classy, most INFJs would agree that it's a nice change from the everyday stress-ridden expressions of the average human. Number 2. Most of today's mainstream music is highly overrated. Rooted in their draw towards unconventional and peculiar music genres and artists, the INFJ personality type tends to find that the current music industry favors repetitiveness and predictability. With the habit of flipping through radio stations with no avail, this type prefers originality, talent, and distinction when it comes to art of all forms, something that most INFJs would agree to be lacking in today's mainstream melodies. Despite their playlists being filled with all sorts of music from different eras, creators, and varieties, it takes much more than a catchy tune to turn the INFJ onto listening to a song voluntarily. And while this doesn't exclude all of today's music from their preferences, it's rare for an INFJ to be considered a die-hard fan for any of the current artists of the present day. Number 3. Most social relationships are a form of escapism. Being the introverted and introspective type they are, the INFJ personality type utilizes their ample amounts of preferred alone time to sit with their thoughts and dig a little deeper into their true selves. They can't relate to those who enjoy spending every spare minute in the company of another person, never mind planning social outing after social outing to feel fulfilled. And while they understand that every person comes with their own set of needs when it comes to the amount of time they spend with others, most people with this type can't help but to think that most people who resort to this way of life may just be running from themselves. Through mindless social events that usually require some form of mind-altering substance to get through, most people don't usually value the people they surround themselves with. Instead, they use plan-making and social relationships as a form of escapism from their own thoughts. Number 4. People aren't meant to stay in one place for too long. Despite the INFJ's preference for remaining in their comfort zones, this personality type balances their otherwise contentedness with a deep curiosity for learning new things. In fact, the INFJ isn't alone when it comes to their habit of losing interest in current endeavors once they've reached the point of not being able to grow any further. However, for most people, regardless of how uninterested they are in their current life circumstances, most people believe in sticking it out for the long run. Whether it be in relationships that are long overdue, living circumstances that don't fit their lifestyle, or career positions that promise long-lasting financial security, most people are afraid to make the necessary changes. To the INFJ who is always looking for their sole purpose, sooner or later, they come to the conclusion that they're not meant for just one thing. They're meant to try and try again. learning the necessary life lessons along the way, which brings us to our next INFJ unpopular opinion. People are afraid to wonder. From fear-mongering littered news to unofficial societal expectations surrounding the need to have a place in this world, people are afraid to explore and discover, whether it be within the facets of their own minds, traveling the world, changing careers, or finding a new hobby. People fear losing the identity they've created for themselves through their recurrent life circumstances. Some people believe wandering is meant only for children and adolescents. Or maybe that it's a form of hippy-dippy, soul-finding nonsense. In the eyes of an INFJ, however, those who are too stuck within their current identity are unfortunately missing out on the real beauty life has to offer. They can't help but to believe that those who take their jobs and outer reality all too seriously may just be living in fear of who else they can be. In the end, we're all just souls playing human after all. Number 6. Life doesn't get easier, we just get stronger. I'll be happy once I graduate. I'll be happy once I find a fulfilling career. I'll be happy once I have children. I'll be happy once I retire. People seem to have a shared understanding that there are certain destinations in life that will solve all their problems. Maybe it's through the constant preaching that time heals all wounds, or that with a better understanding of life as we age, it all gets a little easier. However, life isn't what's changing in these circumstances, and with their deeply philosophical views on the matter, INFJs know this to be true firsthand. In fact, with each struggle and painful experience that humans face, they become a little more resilient, and in turn, better at coping. Through every loss, hardship, and failure, we become better equipped at the hardships that life has to offer, while simultaneously becoming more grateful for the good times. Number 7. Social media is one of the best things to happen to humanity. Contradictory by nature, most INFJs hold beliefs on both sides of the social media argument. Sure, in some cases, social media can be seen as one of the most toxic artificial entities to have ever been formed. Through false ideals, glorified lifestyles, addictive nature, and the pressure to keep up with it all. Most people would agree that social media is harmful and may even be detrimental to human existence in the future. However, for the INFJ who values the idea of freedom of information and the avoidance of relying on biased news broadcasts to understand the severity of current affairs, social media serves to be an amazing way to share personal experiences. In fact, when used appropriately, social media gives way to the power to the people movement in a way that has never been experienced by humans before. With the right discernment, it allows us to become inspired to different ways of living while offering the truth of different people's experiences, struggles, and fulfillment, a deeper look into the human collective. And lastly, number 8. First impressions are BS. They say that the initial impression people have of you is irretrievable. However, most INFJs would beg to differ. For this highly analytical type, first impressions are merely a character being played to manipulate someone's initial perspective. In fact, for the INFJ who remains curious and even suspicious to one's character for the first few dozen interactions, first impressions practically say nothing about who someone really is. It's all a game that is played by being on one's best behavior, while deciphering how far they can go with actually showing their true personality. And while the INFJ is guilty of this too, they just know not to take these initial interactions too seriously. In reality, the INFJ can see right through this friendly disguise, and with that, they know it's usually all in how relatable, easygoing, and friendly of a guise they put on, leaving no room for genuinity or conversational topics that allow for a deeper look into the way their mind works. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, what's an unpopular belief that you hold as an INFJ that we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.